Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformation. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 74 countries. So whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that changed our lives and how we use this to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network at Tuesday through Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. However, today being a special day for Veterans Day, I have for you an amazing guy coming on the show. Navy veteran, just released his book today that serves the military and veteran community. So I'm excited to bring this guy to you today. You can join our Facebook group, Life Transformation Radio Community, and never miss an episode by subscribing to the show wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, CastBox, the Himalaya app, and the Google Play Music app, and now available on Pandora. So wherever it is that you listen to podcasts, please subscribe, rate, and review Life Transformation Radio. My guests on the show are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, basically amazing human beings that are impacting the world around them. And my guest today does exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. And with that, please help me welcome to the show my friend and fellow veteran, Phil Capron. Phil, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
What's up, Sean? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm excited because you have a new book that just is releasing today. And I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited to what it's going to do for that veteran and active duty military group, man. So super pumped for you, man. Happy for your success.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely stoked to dive into it and take it any which way you want to go. And again, just really want to thank you for the opportunity. It's clear that you've been doing this for a minute. You're so smooth, and I hope that one day I can be just like you.
We will get you there, my friend.
Intro and right on.
We will definitely get you there. So the title of this show is Your VA Loan, How It Can Make You a Millionaire with Navy veteran Phil Capron. Phil purchased first property in Norfolk, Virginia, while serving in the U.S. Navy as a naval special warfare combatant craft crewman. While he enjoyed jumping out of planes, shooting machine guns, and practicing small unit tactics with Navy SEALs, Phil's first real estate purchase inspired him to pursue his passion for real estate investing. He committed to pursuing real estate further after serving in the Navy and began taking courses to obtain his real estate license. Upon separation from service in 2012, Phil immediately went to work. He started by selling his Navy buddies' homes as they were transferred from other duty stations and soon began flipping houses with one of his Navy teammates. 5 years and over 30 flips later, he acquired his first multifamily property. 245 units later, Phil spends his time looking for the next deal and helping new multifamily investors do the first deals. Today, he's sharing his story and secrets to success in his book, Your VA Loan, and How It Can Make You a Millionaire, where he outlines a detailed strategy for active military members and veterans alike to fully maximize their VA loans through strategic real estate investing. You can go to the website at philcapron.com PhilCapron, PhilCapron.com. Go to Facebook link and the Instagram link are right there in the show notes. Connect with Phil and send him a message letting him know that you heard him here on Life Transformation Radio. We will also throw in the show notes the link to his book so that you can get the book today. It is available right now on Amazon. So, Phil, my friend, the first question I have to ask, and I believe is the most important question that you could ever ask anybody, is why? Why do you do what you do?
Man, I'll tell you, that's a great question. So I'll do my best to answer it for you. It's been a process. As you mentioned, when I was in the Navy, obviously that was my sole focus, was, working on, just being the best sailor that I could be. Didn't always achieve that goal. But I happened to buy a property when I was transferred to Norfolk. And, I'd always had the idea that real estate was a good thing to do. The year was 2010. So, the real estate markets across the country had just melted down a couple years prior, and a lot of people were still scared of it. But, looking at what I could buy for the price, I decided it was a good bet. And fortunately, my allegiance to a couple of my teammates made me opt for the 4-bedroom house, and maybe not quite as nice of a neighborhood, over the 2-bedroom that was right on the oceanfront. So I ended up with a 4-bedroom, 3.5-bath house that was, 5 minutes from my driveway to inside the turnstile on base, which was a pretty good deal, and was able to move 3 of my buddies from training in with me. And so the way that worked is my mortgage payment was $1,350 a month, and yep. I lived in the master with, the big jacuzzi tub and the tile shower and, the walk-in closet that, that right. I could never fill up. And then my one buddy lived in the in-law suite for $800 a month, and 2 other buddies lived in the 3rd and 4th bedrooms for $600 a month each. They thought it was a great deal because our BAH was about $1,300 a month. So they got right. to pocket a bunch of money. And I thought it was a great deal because I was collecting $2,000 and my mortgage wow. was $1,350. And with all utilities and, everything involved in owning a property, it was about $400. So I was pocketing $250 a month to live in the best place that I could imagine at the time. So, that was pretty amazing, really. But I didn't get the significance of it until after I separated and started selling real estate. So as you mentioned, my early clients were, guys from the team and other service members, and then I kind of branched out from there. But, I saw, and I am getting to your question, I saw a lot of them who'd not gotten very good deals. So whether the real estate agent was to blame or the lender, service members, we know that ultimately the buck stops with us. If you listen to Jocko, right. Extreme accountability, you're responsible for everything. And once you, kind of change your mindset to that, you're unstoppable. So I saw guys going into foreclosure, doing short sales, going through divorces, and just, losing gobs of money on, these real estate purchases. And the beauty of the VA loan is that you can acquire real property, a primary residence, at a 0 down payment and, potentially get all of your closing costs covered. I actually received a little bit of money back on the purchase of my property to pay off some credit card debt. It's a really cool vehicle. But if you're just buying anything, you can get yourself in trouble. Leverage can be dangerous if not used properly. So these folks are buying properties towards the top of the market, new construction, flips, overpaying. And when they had to PCS a couple years later, or there was a life event, the divorce, the separation from service, et cetera, they weren't able to withstand that. And, that was something that was going to follow them around for years and years as a blemish on their record. So I decided then that I wanted to do something to help educate our brothers and sisters on how to use this benefit, which is really, really powerful, properly. And then it kind of went on the back burner. I was selling homes, I was flipping homes, doing my thing, and got into this multifamily space. And as you mentioned, now I own a bunch of apartments, and that's where I spend the vast majority of my time. But as I dissected my journey, none of that would have been possible without the first purchase, the first kind of leap of faith with this VA loan. So I believe that if you, use some of the tactics and strategies I described in the book, you surround yourself with smart people that are doing similar things, and you start early enough in your career that with a little bit of effort, hard work, and diligence, you can retire after a military career as a net worth millionaire. And that's the purpose of the book, is to show folks how to do that if that's important to them.
That's awesome, man. I love that. So I'm just checking Amazon right now, my friend, and you are the #1 new release inside of the category. So congratulations on that.
What? So how do you figure that out? Because you're the big brain when it comes to all this stuff. One of my buddies is like, "Hey, how many copies have you sold?" I'm like, I have no idea. I just know that I've been getting calls all day. I don't know how to check that.
Underneath so when you uploaded it to KDP, if you actually go to the KDP and you go to your dashboard, it'll tell you how many copies you've sold. I just bought it.
Fantastic.
I'm currently leaving you a review right now. Okay.
I appreciate that.
And right now you are in the home buying. It says home buying. Right? You're number 14 in that category overall. And then you're number 70 in the real estate books category. And then you are ranking in another category. Let me see. So, man, that is super cool, man.
Well,
you are
we're
number
just
14.
Started.
You're number 14 in buying and selling homes in the Kindle store. Number 70 in buying and selling homes for paperback, because I guess your book is available on paperback, I guess.
That's crazy because the paperback's still in review. So if I'm already number 7 and it's not live yet, we're doing pretty well.
Number 70, your #1 new release there, my friend. And then under real estate investments, you are number 15, which makes you the grand total of 35,424 overall in all of the Amazon books available on Amazon. You're number 35,000 when there's millions and millions and millions of books. So congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate the data and you checking that out. But we are just getting started, and I appreciate all of your help through this process because we're cleaning it up. We're getting better, by the hour here. I didn't realize that I could, basically make it available for free for Kindle Unlimited users.
Yep.
So I've got that figured out. I don't know if that's going to last, but especially for Veterans Day week, I wanted to keep that going. And again, just keep the Kindle at a really reasonable price. So anyone that wants to access this thing, this isn't a moneymaker. My intention is once I've recouped the cost of printing and formatting and book covers and websites and all that funny stuff, is to donate all the proceeds to military charities. Navy SEAL Foundation is important to me. Those are my guys. They did some really cool things for me after I separated. But I'm looking for others, and books aren't where you go to. This isn't a money-making thing. This is a contribution thing. So, if a few people can read this and learn about how I, as a admittedly not very good sailor, went from that to, doing this real estate thing and having a lot of success, there's no excuse for why you cannot.
Absolutely.
If you decide that that's what you want to do. And if a few people read it, figure if that guy can do it, I can too, and take action, then it's worth it to me. Because what really grinds my gears is, when people are separating or retiring and this mindset is pushed on us that, you're broken, you can't do anything, you're disabled, you have to take whatever job you can get because you have no marketable skills. I don't subscribe to that. I know that if you're listening to this show, you've done some really hard things in your life and your service. And I believe that you can continue to do just about anything you want. And I want to help you get this financial thing figured out so that, money's not your lead driver. If you want to go and volunteer in your church, that's your thing. God knows you spend enough time away from your wife and kids, your family. If you want to just return home and be the better father, wife, husband, mother, sister, brother, then I think that's awesome. It would be great if more of us were in the schools teaching the next generation real world stuff, not just stuff out of a textbook. So if even a few people read this and can figure it out before they retire and are able to do those things, then it will have been well worth the late nights, all the coffee and the heartache to put this thing together.
Oh yeah, my man. Oh yeah. So the whole purpose of the show is the transformational moment that we go through in life. I don't believe this life is all sunshine and rainbows. We have these moments that really define us. So talk to us about a transformational moment in your life that puts you on the path to what you're doing today.
All right. So it's not a fun topic. It's one that I haven't talked to many people about. A lot of my closest friends don't even know the full deal, but it's cataloged in excruciating detail in the book. Is my military career. As you mentioned, I enlisted, went out for a special ops job, made it through selection, was cruising, killing it, but turns out I wasn't very good at it. And through my own shortcomings and anyone that's in the military will get this, sort of getting on the wrong side of the powers that be. My career was a failure, and it was the absolute lowest point of my life. But as you know, if you're down low, you got nowhere to go but up. And so I think in like chapter 1 or 2 in the book, I'm talking about how when I found out I was separating, I looked into real estate and thought that would be a viable option. And then the next paragraph, I'm like, and by viable option, I mean I didn't have anywhere else to go. Who would hire me? What could I do? I knew that on a training trip, I took this real estate class because I thought buying my house was cool, like in itself, and I thought maybe there was something to it. So I had to figure it out. I didn't have another choice. If I wanted to keep the house that I was referring to and keep food on the table and all that fun stuff, I had to make it work. So as far as a moment of transformation, I would say that losing my entire identity as a Navy special ops guy and going to some, schmuck civilian wearing a, button down and a tie, trying to sell houses to people, But what was great about it is that what we learned in the military as far as tenacity and adaptability and figuring stuff out applies really well in certain sectors of the civilian world. And I believe it's the ones where you're not capped. So, if you just roll from the military into a job, just like the military, you've got a certain amount of time till you advance. You've got your performance reviews, counseling chits, the whole bureaucratic mess. But if you're in an entrepreneurial venture, I think this is why so many of us get into entrepreneurship. You write your own ticket. And in the real estate sales side, just by working about as hard as I did in the military, all of a sudden I was seeing my name move up the leaderboard every month at the real estate sales meetings, and people were listing their homes with me, and I had agents working for me and assistants, and then got into the flipping thing, and it snowballed because anything that is out there that people have done in the past, there's no real reason that you can't do it. But if I didn't have everything taken from me, I might not have realized that door was there.
Yep. Oh, I totally get it. Yeah, I've kind of been down that road a little bit. It's not fun. I was actually charged against the UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice, with an Article 112, drunk on duty. So not
I know a lot of your story.
Start.
I didn't know the particulars. Yeah.
Yeah, not a great start to the career. I was about I was about 5 years in. And got charged with an Article 112. And I was not the career type of person. But, things change, and then you become that person and, whatever. So I can totally relate to your story about, not being that, military type person. I wasn't a good airman at all. So, yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, it wasn't for lack of trying, and that was, the most brutal part about it. One of my friends who's friend now, Bo, back in the day, coworker, it's like, why don't people like you? And I was like, well, and this is in front of like the entire detachment or troop. Like, well, I think it's because I'm not very good at like a lot of the stuff that we have to do under their job. Like, I'm really trying, but a lot, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. And he's like, that's a really good answer. Thank you. I'm like, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm freaking busting my butt here. I'm really trying.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to be in trouble. Like, I don't want to, I don't want to not fulfill a mission.
Right.
And it's just crazy because during training, you're told every day, this is easy compared to the actual job. And I'm like, ha, they're lying. No, they were not lying. I mean, I signed up for a brutal job. Brutal.
Yeah.
Respect the hell out of the guys that are still out there doing it. So what was I going to say? Some tangent I wanted to drive down, but here it is. So, taking it back to training, special ops training, boot camp, selection course, whatever, you've done in your career. It's funny, in these high attrition kind of environments, like who makes it and who doesn't. Like, I literally watched as guys that were stronger than me, smarter than me, faster than me, turned in their helmet and walked away from their dreams, for the trade of a cup of coffee and a hot shower. It didn't seem like a very good deal at the time. And, I couldn't figure out why. And, I did well in training. I was a collegiate swimmer and water polo player and, decent athlete overall. So, the physical stuff, everyone hurts, everyone gets broken, but, I had the right stuff to make it through, at least in that part. But it was the mental thing. And I think the issue was with some of these guys is they'd never looked failure in the face before. Ooh. And they couldn't take it. They identified themselves as a failure instead of just saying, well, they made us do a 4-mile beach run in a timed fashion. As soon as we finished, they sent us out on it again, and I failed. I'm now a failure. No, you're cold, wet, and sandy, you haven't slept in a while, and you just ran 8 miles straight at the 4-mile time, or that was the goal.
Yeah.
Like that was a battle you weren't designed to win. So
not
I
everybody's
believe that
cut out for it, though.
Internalize that, though. You have to be able to realize, what is you and what is, hey, I fell short on this thing. And that's not necessarily a reflection of me. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to do it better next time. I joined the military a little bit late, 24 years old. So I had seen failure in other things before, and it didn't affect me the way that it affected some of these guys, the high school, captains of whatever sports. And they hadn't had that taste of life. And, you're talking about what was the transformational point. If you spend your entire life avoiding those types of events, like if you fear failure that much, you're never going to accomplish too much either, is my belief.
Yeah. Well, have you heard of I'm sure you have you heard of the Kokoro?
Yes, but tell me more about it. Why does that sound familiar to me?
So Mark Devine is a guy who does SEAL Fit training, and he created something called the Kokoro, and it's 50 hours of what SEALs go through. There's a 12, a 24, and a 50 hour.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And civilians
Yeah.
can go through it.
Huh. Okay.
So
Yeah,
usually
I think
every
everyone should
Navy
do
guy
that
has
at
ever
least
heard of
once
this.
in their life.
Oh, they
Okay,
should
that's why
absolutely do it.
That's why it sounds familiar. Yeah, that's why it
Yep.
sounds familiar.
Every
There's a
Navy
few different
guy's
programs out there.
pretty much heard about this. Yeah, so Mark Devine created the SEAL Fit program, and then he takes like Navy SEAL guys and military dudes, and so I've got a couple friends that have gone through it, and they say it's just absolutely brutal. Like you
Yeah.
literally get maybe like an hour of sleep out of the 50 hours. You're up for 2 days. You're doing all the stupid stuff. They're basically mixing in a week's worth of that SEAL training, right? It's like a week's worth of everything in about 50 hours.
Wow.
You know, all the hard
Yeah.
stuff that people think about, like sit in the water and get the water ran over you while you're interlocking arms. Grab the boats and like run the boats into the water. Do the 4-mile runs. Do the 8-mile runs. Oh, do it again. You didn't do it fast enough. I mean, it's like taking those moments, taking those hardest moments, and packaging them into a 50-hour program, and you're doing everything all at once.
Not my idea of a good time anymore, but
No.
but yeah, it's the same reason why people, like the David Goggins of the world,
Right.
his entire life's mission is to push himself as far as humanly possible. And there's something to that once you've reached the point of like, I don't want to go any further, and you find a way to, it's very good for you, for sure.
Oh, for sure. I 100% agree. Tell us, I want to know all about the book. I want to know how you elevate the world around you. 5 years and 30 flips later, and now you've acquired your first multifamily property. 245 units later. I mean, do you own all these? Are you showing people how to do these? Are you coaching people? What exactly is it that you're doing that elevates the world around you in this space?
So I do reach back, and I'm involved in a mentorship program that folks that have not done their first apartment deal, they join the program, and we've got this cool little community because, network is everything, accountability is everything. If you've got a big goal in life, and it's written on your mirror and in your journal, and you're really going to do it, but nobody around you supports you, you're setting yourself up for failure. So, I coach maybe, 8 hours a week, give or take, on formal calls. And then it's great because I've got, these 15 guys and girls that are, they're hungry. They're out there looking at deals. They're talking to brokers. They're calling sellers off market. They're, networking with property managers and contractors. They're doing the business in all sorts of different markets. So it's cool for me. It keeps me sharp. I'm looking at a lot more deals than I would be, under my own devices. And I'm still looking at my own deals too.
Sure.
But, I enjoy that, not so much for the money. It pays well, whatever. But I wouldn't do it just for, to get paid a certain amount of money every hour to talk to someone about real estate if I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, I just wouldn't.
That's awesome.
But my day-to-day, it's looking for new deals for myself and my team. We've got like 100 under negotiation right now. We have to do what's called a buyer interview. The seller, and especially in a tight or a hot market like we are right now, they'll have multiple offers, multiple good offers, and they want to, figure out who the best buyer is. So we did like an hour-long interview last week, and it appears that it's mine to lose, which is a nice feeling. So we likely are going to go ahead with that. So, my day is, looking at these new opportunities, working with my teammates on the 245 that we do own. And let's not get it twisted. I don't own these, I'm the only owner. I have small partnerships that, own 100 here, 82 over there. And I have a handful that are mine, but similar to being in the military, you want to delegate labor based on skill set, and there are certain parts of this industry and this job that I'm no good at. Kind of like being a SWIC. So I want to stay in my wheelhouse, and I want to let people that are strong, in their areas, do what they do. One deal was really interesting. We were heading towards closing last year, and the bank actually denied our loan at the 11th hour.
Oh, man.
And this was not good because we had $50,000, what's called hard or non-refundable deposit on the line. And I called this bank. I said, you can't do this. And they said, yeah, we can. We're the bank. I mean, I know you can, but you shouldn't. Your representative gave us their word that, we just needed this one, the appraisal to come in or something. And that, everything was approved. Because of that, we put up additional money. The seller thinks we're closing. This isn't right. I think you need to meet with me and my team, and we need to find a resolution. So somehow I convinced the president and the entire C-suite
Wow.
of this bank to meet with me and a couple of my partners. And, so we went over the deal first and foremost. And, the president's like, well, who are you? I was like, who I am doesn't matter. You guys are a bank. Is this a good deal or is it not? So I ran them through the modeling of the deal. And they're like, no, the deal makes sense. I'm like, okay, cool. So now who we are, this is our property manager. This is our attorney. And as far as the actual team, this is me. This is my track record. I was in the Navy. I was in Special Ops, yada, yada. This is my partner. He's a graduate of a little place called West Point, company commander in the Army, owns a bunch of property, has been a contractor for the last decade, super experienced. This is my other partner. He's an Army Green Beret, but that got too easy for him. So we went to law school, and now he's still serving in the military as a JAG. So he's our attorney. And then this is my other partner whose day job is he's a chief auditor with like a Big Four bank. So
Oh, wow.
He's doing all of our financial modeling and all that. And, there's just like jaws are on the floor. So, the gentleman calls me later in the afternoon. He said, we still might not love this deal, but we do love your team. And we know that if anyone can do this, it's complex, it's dirty, it's ugly. You guys can do it. So, if I had to kind of point to one key as to, how my business works, that's it. Figure out what you do better than anyone else, and then surround yourself with others that are, best in class in what they do.
Heck yeah, man. Very cool. And now you have more properties, and it's always growing, and now you have a #1 book.
Soon to be, it looks like, which is rad. I don't really care about the vanity stuff. Like I said, I just want,
Sure.
If a few years go by and, I get a Facebook message or an email or, something, and it says, hey, Phil, saw the book, saw your website, heard you on whatever podcast, heard you on Sean's show, and we decided to use our VA loan. We've acquired a few properties, and now we're going to be able to retire with cash flow from these properties, or we're going to strategically exit from the properties and take this $250,000 and go start a franchise in something that we're passionate about, or, travel around the world or around the United States in a Winnebago with my kids and show them everything. That, that'll make it all worth it for me. So #1 would be fine, but that's not, that's not really what I'm shooting for. I'm shooting for
Sure.
a few people to actually really be able to change their lives because of the concepts that are introduced to them through this book.
Absolutely. So what is the one takeaway from your book that you want the readers to know? The one, if they don't remember anything else from the book, what is the one takeaway that you want to leave them with?
That if I can do it, you can too. That might sound generic, so I'm going to try to find another one. I know. But look.
That's so military of you.
So hang on. You know that's the difference. We run in the same circles.
For sure.
We look at people that are achieving and people that aren't, and that is the freaking difference. So I was on the phone with one of my partners earlier today, and I think he was quoting Gary Vee, and this is a family show, so I'll censor it down. But it was something along the lines of, what's the ROI on a piano?
Yep.
Nothing. what's the ROI on a piano in the hands of Elton John? $10 billion.
Billions.
Billion, right?
Yep.
$10 billion.
Billions.
So look, you can go on the Kindle Unlimited and get this, thing that I've produced for free and read it and decide it sucks and never do anything, and that's fine. Or you could do the opposite. Something about the story could resonate with you, and you decide that you're going to get your pre-approval, go to a lender, bank, whoever, get the ball rolling, start working with a real estate agent, analyzing the properties the way that I'm suggesting that you do. And then, you're putting that plan into motion. Information without implementation is just entertainment, right? So that's the takeaway. Like you have to do something. And there's a goal setting exercise in the book, and I saved it to the end. I was going to have it in the beginning, like right after we talked about, how does real estate work? How are the different ways that you make money in real estate when everyone's all amped up and seeing dollar signs? But that's not really the key. The key is, understanding the concepts well enough to say, this guy's on to something. He figured it out. Other people are out there figuring it out. I think I can too. I'm going to take the next logical step to make it happen, right? But you have to double back to the reason why you're doing it. Because if there's no compelling reason, you're also not going to succeed. You're going to read my book, and then you're going to go read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and you're going to read, the blogs on Bigger Pockets, and you're just really killing it. You're learning everything. You know all the terms. You can, speak to any broker or lender, and people think you're really great. But until you set foot in the arena, it doesn't make a difference. So the one thing that I tried to come back to often in the book is that you actually have to take some action. So cliche maybe, but it's also the truth.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's why I started laughing. I'm like, man, it's so cliche, but it's so true. It literally is the determining factor. I mean, it literally is.
It is. So my best friend, sort of the reason why I joined the military after hanging out with him and hearing about his experience, you know what, I'm going to do this. I was talking to him and I was like, what's the secret to make it through training? It must have been so tough, blah, blah, blah. And, he had some good advice. And then I was talking to another guy, another special ops guy. And I was like, hey, what's the secret? I want to make sure that I make it through, tell me. And he's like, don't quit. I'm like, wow, what awful, terrible advice. Like, this guy must not like me. He must think I'm a schmuck that he would give me such terrible advice. But standing there on graduation day, look to my left, look to my right, and I realized that the only thing that I did different was that I didn't quit.
Wow.
I failed, push-ups or pull-ups when we've been at it for hours and hours. Like, you just physically can't do anymore. I'd failed a no course or a run, never a swim. But I'm sure there were some elements of training, I don't remember them exactly at this point, that I probably didn't meet the mark. But it happens to everyone. And, the only difference between the ones who were remaining and the ones who voluntarily went away was that, they accepted that as their fate, that they couldn't do it. They couldn't come back and do it any better. They couldn't dig a little deeper. And in this business, this life, I mean, it's the same thing. The truth is not new, it is old. And that's why you hear so much of the same advice kind of peddled over and over. I wish I had something brand new to add. All I have is my particular flavor, my particular experience of how that is, manifested. And it'll resonate with some people and it won't with others. So,
it's all good, man.
Looking for my few that want to do some things and hoping that they can use this as a vehicle to create whatever they want. Because I mean, it's amazing. You can be, an E3 married or E4, whatever, E5, whenever they let you off base. If you're single and 20 years old or whatever, they'll give you a loan on like $250,000 property. That's insane.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
If you do nothing other than, pay your mortgage and don't die, 20, 30 years, you got $500,000 sitting there.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And I haven't used my VA loan yet. 18 years in the military, and I've not used my VA loan yet. So I was just always like, well, I'll just live on base, or, well, I'll just rent for a little bit. And we were going to, in Texas, I was like, oh, I'll be there for 4 years. Let's go buy a house. But it just, I don't know, it just kind of never materialized. And going to Texas, we had horrible credit. I'm like 550 credit score, like horrible credit, because I was racking up debt for business. I had a business that I was bought out of. I had business debt and everything else that was going on. I had debts from drinking and all the stupid stuff that I was doing. And so I was on my way up. I mean, I had really racked up some stupid debt. Like, oh, let me get these Best Buy credit card, so I get my speakers for my Mustang, let me get some 12-inch JL audios, like that's the stuff I cared about. So I never used my VA loan, and it just kind of worked out to where, I got a couple years left in the military, and I'm going to use my VA loan, at the next place I go to, or if I just retire before that happens, then wherever I go, I'm just going to use my VA loan, and
so
it'll be set. So I'm in a better place.
We've talked to good. And look, I'm so glad that you brought this up, because we're friends. We talk about stuff.
Yep.
And I know that you're not a subscriber to the gospel of the VA loan. I'm wondering if you had my book in 2000 and whatever, 2009 or 10.
Yeah.
If you would have. You obviously
100%.
have different things going on in your life, and we've discussed this at length. It's not right for everyone.
Right.
It's not.
I probably would have.
And
because I would have been smarter. I would have been more well educated.
Yeah, you didn't have the information. And look, there's some duty stations that aren't going to make sense to buy at, and we talk about in my book on how you analyze markets. You don't want to be buying in markets that the bases are like constantly on the chopping block and they're the only thing for miles.
Oh yeah,
right? That's a bad day. So we talk about how to analyze markets. But when I was a real estate agent and when I was a flipper, and the other representing sellers, so either representing a seller or selling my own house, a flip, and the other agent, the buyer agent, would bring a contract or an offer from a VA buyer, and it would have like a $500 earnest money deposit, so the deposit to let the seller know that you're serious. And I'd say, hey, this is a $250,000 house, so let's change this term, that term, and bump that up to $1,000, and we'll accept the contract. And they're like, they don't have it. What? Like, yeah, they don't have it. Like, okay, you're trying to buy a $250,000 piece of property that the mortgage is $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 a month, and you don't have $1,000 in the bank. You should not be using the VA loan, because then you end up like the people that I referred to earlier. Something happens, it's like not even a big deal, and they're in financial ruin over it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We talk about that in the book. It's not for everybody, but if you can rack up 6 months worth of expenses, I think that's a good place to start, depending on your level of, your risk tolerance and, kind of your income level and your obligations. Do you have a family? Different things. It can vary. But there absolutely are some people that should not be using the VA loan. So
we're going to get
everybody
your book. Yeah, we're going to everybody.
And they can make the decision themselves.
Absolutely. The link to the book is in the show notes. Go to philcapron.com, CAPRON, philcapron.com. Phil, thank you so much for coming on the show. This is absolute momentous occasion for you, my friend. Your rank from 34,000 is now 23,000 on Amazon. We're tracking it. And 23,688 overall on Amazon. #1 new release in 2 categories. So you're crushing it, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Love it, Sean. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate all your help and your friendship through this whole process. I couldn't have done it without you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, my friend. Life Transformation Radio listeners, if you are a military, if you are a veteran, get Phil's book today. And what I want to tell all the veterans is Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for serving. Thank you for everything that you've provided us and this country. With that, I close the show by saying live your brand. find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.